Alright, so you probably remember when Mel B had her daughter, and it took Eddie Murphy over 10 years to finally admit that the child was his. When he finally did, it seemed like he wanted to make up for all the lost years. But now things have taken a sad turn. Angel just turned 18, and instead of their bond growing stronger, it's reportedly fallen apart. Sources claim Eddie never fully accepted Angel, especially after she decided to transition. It's heartbreaking because people once believed Eddie was trying to be a better father. No one expected this kind of drama in 2025, but honestly, it feels like something that could come from Eddie's unpredictable life. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's dive in and break down everything that's been going on with this family.
Old school, we dated for a while, and by the way, I've never actually had a one-night stand. I haven't. Believe that or not, I have not.
There we go. And your dad, he asked your dad for your hand in marriage?
Yeah, it was a very loving, safe, just loving relationship.
Did y'all even know when Eddie Murphy and Mel B first started dating? Because honestly, most people didn't even realize they were together until the news broke that Mel was pregnant. And by then, things had already turned ugly. Eddie completely distanced himself from her, acting cold and defensive. When the paternity lawsuit began, Eddie's team quickly released a statement trying to downplay everything. They said, Mr. Murphy and Miss Brown dated very briefly and never made any long-term plans. He acknowledges paternity of the child, Angel, and has paid child support, as well as covered pregnancy expenses. That statement made it sound like their relationship was nothing serious, just a short fling that accidentally led to a pregnancy. Many people believed it, and some even accused Mel B of trying to trap Eddie for money. But let's be real, Mel B was already rich and successful from her time with the Spice Girls, one of the biggest pop groups in history. She definitely didn't need to trap anyone for a paycheck. According to Mel, their love story was nothing like Eddie's version. She said when they met in 2006, it was instant chemistry, like sparks flew the second they locked eyes. In her memoir Brutally Honest, Mel described that first meeting by saying, "It was as if a 2,000-volt electric current passed between us. I felt like I'd known him forever, like I was looking at my destiny." Their relationship moved fast. They were inseparable, constantly together, and even got matching tattoos of each other's names on their thighs. Eddie seemed just as smitten because he actually went to Mel's father to ask for her hand in marriage. He even proposed soon after. That doesn't sound like a casual fling, does it? Despite Eddie later denying their relationship, Mel insisted he was lying and that they were deeply involved. In fact, she said Eddie was the one who wanted a baby. And honestly, that checks out. Eddie Murphy already had 7 kids at that time. He's known for having a big family, so wanting another child wasn't unusual for him. When Mel found out she was pregnant, she said Eddie was thrilled. They celebrated together, laughing and crying tears of joy. Everything seemed perfect for a moment, but that happiness didn't last. Not long after, Eddie's behavior started to change. According to Mel, once he realized she was pregnant, he became extremely controlling. He didn't want her leaving the house, constantly worried something might happen to her or the baby. What started as a passionate relationship slowly turned into something that felt like a golden cage. Glamorous on the outside but suffocating inside. Mel hoped things would get better once the baby was born, but that dream completely shattered when Eddie publicly embarrassed her. During a TV interview, a reporter asked him if he was excited about the baby. Instead of showing joy or pride, Eddie responded coldly, saying, "I don't know whose child that is until it comes out and has a blood test. Don't jump to conclusions." That statement shocked everyone. Fans who thought they were a happy couple were stunned, and Mel was completely devastated. Imagine being pregnant and hearing the father of your child publicly question if the baby is even his. It was cruel and humiliating. After that, Mel packed up and left his house. She stood her ground, insisting the baby was definitely Eddie's. And of course, later on, DNA proved she was telling the truth all along. It's heartbreaking how fast things went from love and excitement to betrayal and pain. What started as a passionate romance between 2 major stars ended in bitterness, denial, and years of tension. Not only between Mel and Eddie, but also affecting their daughter, Angel. Looking back, it's hard not to feel for Mel. She went from thinking she had found her soulmate to realizing the man she loved could publicly deny their connection and their child. It's a reminder that behind all the fame, the interviews, and the money, celebrities can go through heartbreaks just like everyone else. only there's play out for the whole world to see.
Did you ever think possibly of not having the baby?
Absolutely not. This is a planned baby. This is something
You
that we
wanted it,
both
you wanted
sat
it.
down. Yeah, we both sat down and we discussed it. Listen, I have an 8-year-old. I'm not about to just have a baby by accident. I'm a very responsible parent. We both sat down and planned it, and yeah.
But you didn't plan to be married?
Yeah, we didn't make set in stone plans to be married, but we definitely spoke about it. And that was, yeah, one of the
Were you in
things.
love with him?
Yeah. Why would you have a baby with somebody if you're not in love with them?
4 months later, on Eddie Murphy's birthday of all days, Melby gave birth to Angel Iris Murphy Brown. What should have been a moment of joy quickly turned into another public mess. Mel ended up filing a paternity lawsuit against Eddie, forcing him to legally take responsibility for his child. And honestly, lawsuits like that can destroy any chance of peace between two people. Imagine growing up knowing your dad went on national TV to question if you were even his, and then spent years fighting your mom in court just to avoid claiming you. When the DNA test results finally came back, it was confirmed beyond doubt that Angel was indeed Eddie's daughter. The court ordered him to pay child support and cover all the medical costs from Mel's pregnancy. But even after everything was settled legally, Eddie reportedly wanted nothing to do with Angel. From his perspective, Mel had tricked him, and the pregnancy was something he never wanted. Their relationship had become so bitter that Eddie's ex-wife, Nicole Murphy, supposedly had to step in just to get them to talk again and make peace over the child. In the end, Eddie stayed distant. He didn't try to be involved in Angel's life, and Mel had to raise her mostly on her own. For years, Angel actually believed that Mel's ex-husband, Stephen Belafonte, was her real dad. That's how absent Eddie was. It wasn't until Angel was a teenager that she and Eddie finally started to build some kind of relationship. But by that time, too much damage had been done. She had already grown up without him, and their bond felt forced and awkward. Things became even more complicated when Angel began her gender transition. Reports said that Eddie struggled to accept it and wasn't very supportive at first. And the irony didn't go unnoticed, because people still remember that back in 1997, Eddie was stopped by police in Los Angeles while driving with a transgender sex worker named Shalimar in his car. Eddie claimed at the time that he was just being kind and giving her a ride, but the story blew up in the media, and he faced huge backlash. So when years later his own child came out as transgender, many found it hypocritical that Eddie couldn't show compassion or understanding. Insiders said Angel felt hurt and confused. How could her father, who had once been involved in a scandal with a trans woman, still act so uncomfortable about her transition? It felt like history repeating itself, only this time it was personal. Now that Angel is grown, the public is calling Eddie out again. People online are criticizing him for being an absent father, for letting his pride and prejudice get in the way of being there for his child. It's one thing to have drama with your ex, but it's another to let that tension affect your relationship with your own kid. Eddie Murphy might have fame, money, and respect in Hollywood, but when it comes to being a father to Angel, many believe he failed badly. Some fans say they'll never look at him the same way after how he treated Mel and ignored his daughter for years. Others think it's karma that his child turned out to be someone who challenges his views and forces him to face his own past. No matter how people spin it, one thing's clear: Angel deserved better. Whether Eddie chooses to fix things now or not, the scars from those early years won't easily fade. What do you think about this whole situation? Should Eddie get another chance, or has the damage already been done?